Hello, and welcome back to the channel, where I love sharing actions that you can take to get wealth. How does debt affect me right now? Easy. If you've ever felt like your paycheck disappears the moment that you get it, debt is usually the reason. What's the simple first step that you can take? Start by knowing your numbers. You can't fix what you won't face. And what's the cost if you don't? Sleepless nights and peace of mind that slip away month after month. So that's why today we're going to break this down into clear steps that you can follow. Step 1, know your numbers. Step 2, list out all your debts. Step 3, separate the bad from the strategic. And step number 4, avoid high interest traps. Because if not, this steals your peace of mind. And that's why today we're talking about debt. How much is too much? Is some debt actually helpful? And how do you know when you're in the danger zone? So let's clear the air, because what you don't know can hurt you. A lot of people believe that any debt at all means that you failed financially. You hear it all the time. If you owe money, you're doing something wrong. But here's the curveball. Not all debt is bad, but no matter what, it feels bad to have debt. Here's a better way to say that same thing. Debt makes you feel bad. Debt is like being punched in the stomach. But imagine the difference between being punched by Mike Tyson and being punched by a 9-year-old. Both are gonna hurt, but only one will leave you rethinking your entire life. So let me tell you about Jasmine. She just graduated with a master's degree in physical therapy. So student loans, about $70,000. Now that's no small number, but here's the twist. Jasmine landed a job within a month that pays her $85,000 a year. So she's paying her loans down very aggressively. And the skills that she paid for, they're paying her back every single month. Now, contrast that with Ray. Ray took out $20,000 in credit card debt for business expenses, which turned out to be a laptop, a drone, a fancy website, and probably a ton of fast food. His business never launched. He's now paying $450 a month, and that drone is collecting dust underneath his bed. Jasmine took a 9-year-old's punch, but Ray, he got hit by Mike Tyson. In fact, some debt can help you build a better future. Shocking, right? I know it sounds a little bit backwards. It's like someone telling you to eat certain kinds of chocolate might be good for your heart, which, by the way, is also kind of true. The question that you must figure out is this. How much do you want to have in debt payments every single month? So write down that word debt in the comments, and I'll send you a free debt payment chart to estimate how much money you will spend on a house, a car, or student loan payments. You must look at now and into your future, because you'll go through many seasons in your life. Anyway, I've spent years helping people get their finances on track, and I've seen both the good and ugly sides of borrowing. So trust me, once you understand how to spot the difference, it changes everything. So grab a calculator. We're about to find out your debt ratio. Add up all the money you pay every month for things like a car loan or student loans, credit card debts, personal loans. This is everything except your mortgage. Now divide that by your take-home pay. This will be your non-mortgage debt ratio. And you want this number to be 10% or less. So as an example, let's say you bring home $4,000 a month. That means you want all that non-housing debt to be under $400 a month. Now add your mortgage back in, and your total debt payments should stay under 36%. If you go above that, your budget will start grasping for air. Ever feel like your paycheck disappears the moment that you get it? That's usually why. Meet Carlos and Tasha. Carlos makes $90,000 a year. He drives a luxury SUV, lives in a beautiful townhome, always looks sharp. but he's got $1,400 a month in debt payments. This includes credit cards, a car loan, student loans. It adds up very fast. Now, Tasha, on the other hand, she makes $65,000 a year. She drives a reliable sedan and lives in a modest apartment. Her total debt payments, just $350 a month. Guess who's sleeping better at night? Carlos looks wealthy, but he's constantly stressed. He once told me, I have to check my account before I buy groceries. But Tasha, she's stacking savings, building her 401k, and she recently took a trip to Mexico, all paid in full. Looks can be deceiving. Peace is way better than pretense. So what's good debt and what's bad debt? Think about apples versus candy bars. Both have sugar, but only one gives you something healthy in return. But if you consume too many apples, that can give you stomach pain or bloating. I have never heard someone say something like, I love debt. Have you? I like to think of debt in two categories. There's bad debt and not so bad debt. Not so bad debt is student loans, if they lead to some higher earnings later on down the line. Mortgages, if the home appreciates. A reliable car for work. A smart business loan. The key question is this. Does the thing that you're borrowing for outlast the debt? So what is bad debt? That's the stuff that gives you a sugar rush and probably a stomach ache a little bit later. Vacation still on your credit card 9 months later. Clothing that you financed. Takeout and gadgets that you really didn't need. Let's go to Mia. She and her friends booked a luxury weekend trip to Miami. She didn't have the money, but she had a credit card. It's just $1,200, she said. But that $1,200 turned into $1,800 after interest, and the guilt, it hung around longer than any of the 10 lines. She later told me, I wish I had just stayed home and barbecued in the backyard. Look, sometimes freedom is just saying no. So here's how you know you have a debt problem. Borrowing to pay off other loans. Creditors might be calling you. Or if you're only making the minimum payments. Worse yet, if you've maxed out your credit cards. If you have to borrow to cover groceries. Or maybe you're getting denied for any new credit cards that you apply for. If that's you, that's your wake-up call. Look, research has shown that adults with income under $100,000 were more likely to carry credit card balances from month to month. That said, the lowest income adults were the least likely to have a credit card in the first place. Consequently, middle income adults were the most likely to have a credit card that they used to finance purchases by carrying balances from one month to the next. So what's the plan? Let's talk some steps. Step number 1 is know your numbers. Calculate your debt ratio. You can't fix what you won't face. Step number 2, list out your debts. Every single debt. Include the balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. Step number 3, separate the bad from the strategic. Sort your debts. Decide which ones are weighing you down. The highest balance and interest rate will give you a clue. Step number 4, avoid high interest traps. This includes payday loans, title loans, pawn shops. These are financial quicksand. Look, Derek needed $300 to fix his car. He got a payday loan. And fast forward 6 months later, he owed $1,100 and still hadn't fixed the car. He said, it was supposed to help me, but it almost broke me. He finally borrowed money from his sister and vowed, never again will I take out a payday loan. Sometimes the fastest help is the most expensive. So what you should do is this. Look for credit unions. Lower rate debt consolidation might be able to help you. If you really need help budgeting, there's apps all over the place that can help. And sometimes you might need to get a side hustle, maybe short term or maybe long term. But lastly, you got to shift your mindset. This isn't just about debt. It's about taking back control. If you don't tell your money where to go, it disappears. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you had zero Debt. What could you do with that breathing room? Could you finally invest or maybe give generously, maybe just rest? Another story. James was 38. He had $27,000 in debt and no savings. One day his son asked, "Dad, are we rich?" And James laughed, but it stung. That night he stayed up until 2 a.m. and he mapped out a debt payoff plan. And then 2 years later, he was debt-free. 5 years later, he was investing, owns a home, and teaches others what he learned. That one question changed everything. Debt doesn't have to be your forever story, but only you can turn the page. Hey, before you go, if you found this to be helpful, make sure to hit the subscribe button right here. You won't miss any of the new videos that I've got coming out and coming your way. And if you're ready to keep this thing going, click this next video right here. I'll meet you over there and we'll dive even deeper. And hey, stay away from payday loans, okay? You're worth way more than 100% interest. See you in the next one.